Well, right now on Spotify, Bust a Move has 141 million streams.
It's a decent number.
Pretty big number considering how long after
That's
the song came out, the streaming was actually invented.
It was a little, I say, even though it's only certified platinum, I would say the record sold at least 2 to 3 million albums before the first stream ever existed.
Easy.
Not to mention the downloads, not to mention the other stuff, sure.
I mean, with the fame comes the women and the parties and everything else like that. I mean, were you starting to go crazy during this time? Because a lot of people, look.
My wife gives me grief about it, but only because I say this and I mean it. I had one crazy week.
I don't believe you.
No, seriously.
I've heard you say this on Drink Champs.
Dude.
I do not believe you.
I honestly
don't believe you.
Because you know why?
I know you gotta say what you gotta say because you're married.
No.
Don't believe you.
This is the thing that people don't understand. It's like if you're a famous guy, she won't keep the secret. She's not gonna say, "Oh, I just slept with this guy. I slept with that guy, that young MC that did that record."
There's no internet back then. There's no one to tell. You can't post that I just slept with the young MC.
No. And I'm not saying that I wasn't messing with girls just so that people wouldn't gossip. But the point was that anything I did was magnified. So my whole thing was, unless I knew that this is something that I want to, invest time and whatever into, I wasn't like jumping around with everybody. It just didn't make sense to. Trust me, I had my fun. I'm not gonna lie to you, I had my fun. But I'm the kind of person where I'll experience something and know that I'm about to get into it again. And if I didn't like the first experience, I won't get into the second one. That's how I am. Don't drink, don't smoke, don't do any. So I'm not gonna be in the mindset where it's like, oh, let me just have fun and let's see how it turns out. I'm always over-calculating. Now, we just met, so you probably don't think that's right. But trust me, that's how I am.
I mean, look, I remember when I first became a DJ and I started to tour as a DJ. Yeah, I went crazy.
Oh, yeah.
With the girls.
But dude, Vlad.
And I didn't have 1/100th of the fame that you did.
But Vlad.
Maybe not 1/1000th of the fame that you did. And I remember just how easy it was and how, really how cool it was. Just, to have women constantly approach you and waiting for you after the show and the admiration they have of you. Like, that's something that normal people just don't experience.
True.
Right?
Having said that, I know people that have more money than you can believe that have horrible social skills. But they're very well respected and they think they have the greatest time because they have a whole bunch of money. But they would give up some of that money to get better social skills, to be better and more comfortable around people. I know really, or have known really beautiful, sexy women, the whole 9 yards, that don't live life well. You know what I mean? They don't survive well. They're not good in terms of supporting themselves or supporting a partner or anything like that. And you watch them go through life. And you see that, and you realize, okay, that may be good for a night. That may be good for a week, but that won't be good for a lifetime. That won't be good in terms of partnership. Plus the fact that's somebody's daughter, that's somebody's sister. My pleasure is not worth, putting more burden on top of them with the hurdles that they got to deal with if I know that I'm not going to be around. And that's, I felt fortunate. It didn't feel like a job to me. It felt like a lottery win to me. So my interactions with people, I felt that I want to leave an interaction with someone with them being better off than when they met me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So and once again, I'm not drinking, I'm not doing all, so I'm not gonna run into a drunk woman in the club like, ooh, I can get some and then go back to the, no. I know what that's gonna be. If I know what that's gonna be, you know what I mean? Penthouse, no problem. Playboy, no problem. Strippers, no problem. Well, if you know that, then are you going to continually saying, I want to be with this centerfold, I'm going to be with this person? No.
Yes, I would say that. That's exactly what I would say.
I'm coming from college, Vlad.
I would absolutely say that.
Vlad.
And a lot of your contemporaries were doing the same thing. I mean, how many kids did Eazy-E have? Like Vlad, 12, 13 kids?
Vlad, here's the thing. If you're watching your contemporaries do stuff and it's not working out well for them.
It's working out pretty well for Eazy until,
but I'm not even talking about him in particular. I'm just talking about me looking at people that were in the circle, in the clubs. I was going to Roxbury, I lived half a mile from Roxbury in its heyday. And I was going, 4 nights a week, sometimes 5 nights a week, just being up in there, but I wasn't bringing anybody home. I have the fun or whatever. And when I dated somebody, I dated them. And that's what it was. I tried to have, relationships as opposed to, oh, I'm gonna meet somebody in the club and jump in. It's like I knew where that was gonna go. So, you know, that's about as honest of an answer as I can give,
All right.
you know, to that.
If you say so.
All right. Really? Okay.
Okay. I'm giving you a hard time.
No, it's all right.
All right. So Bust a Move gets nominated for a Grammy.
Yes, sir.
Best Rap Performance.
Yes, sir.
Was this the first solo rapper song to win a Grammy?
No, I thought Parents Just Don't Understand had won before. It was the first televised.
Yeah, but it's Fresh Prince and, you know, and Jazzy Jeff.
Okay, if you
So
say
that's considered a group.
okay, so if you consider
See what I'm saying?
if you consider Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince a group,
They are.
Then
Yeah.
yes, then Bust a Move would have been the first solo rap performance or rap Grammy, and it was the first televised rap Grammy.
Exactly. And Flavor Flav crashed your
Yes.
acceptance speech?
Yes. He said he got a lot of grief for that, which I don't doubt. Me and Flavor cool to this day, so it's all good. But
What did he say when he crashed it? Like, what happened? 'Cause
he's
I
like,
couldn't
yo,
find the footage.
It was just like, yo, I just got hyped, I had to do it kind of thing. So,
Okay. I mean, because
like,
you've
okay.
had a lot of interesting rapper stage crashings during awards. I mean, of course, you had ODB. You know, the whole Wu-Tang's for the children.
yeah.
Puffy's good, but Wu-Tang's for the children. I mean, of course, there's Kanye,
Yeah.
you know, with the Taylor Swift situation.
To me, I think if I remember correctly, he hugged me. And then I said, I want to thank Flavor Flav for breaking up the monotony of my acceptance speech. And a lot of people gave me credit for saying that line. So I'm not looking at it like, ooh, I wish I can get another Grammy so I can have one that Flavor Flav doesn't crash. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just, like, I'm good. Like, it's the same thing as like writing for Tone. I'm like, oh man, I wish I could write a record that would be as big as We Are the World. I mean, I could perform a record as big as We Are the World. I'm not caught up in that.
But-
I'm happy to be there, happy to be in the room.
And you knew Flavor Flav from before, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Did you talk to him about crashing afterwards?
Yeah. No, I spoke to him,
And
and
what did he
that's
say?
when he told me he caught a lot of grief for it. I was on campus at USC before I got signed, so this would have been sophomore year. And Public Enemy came to perform in my school, and I DJ'd to open for Public Enemy before I got signed on my record deal.
Dope.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
it's
Chuck,
cool.
and by the way, Chuck D, I consider Chuck D a mentor. I should be in better.
Oh, no, Chuck D- Chuck D's so dope.
Better contact with him, but Chuck D, like, he's the person I would go to if I had something that I couldn't handle.
No, I've been talking to Chuck D nonstop for the last 15 years. Like, we text each other
Yeah.
every year, a few times a year, you know, to catch up and so forth. He's interviewed with me,
Wonderful.
multiple times. Chuck D, I feel like, I hate how he gets overlooked when you talk about like the GOAT rappers, because I feel he's absolutely one of them.
In terms of content, he's never been like he's never been a lyricist in terms of a lyricist approach, but in terms of his ability to deliver a message and deliver impact.
Yeah, Fight the Power, like these are timeless songs.
Chuck D is probably the most impactful rapper that's ever picked up a microphone. In terms of
I would actually agree with that.
in terms of him picking it up, saying something, having it hit somebody, you know, and just really standing for something and getting his point across. Chuck is the guy with that.
Well, getting an MTV award is cool. Getting a Soul Train award is cool.
I never got either of those, by the way.
Right, but getting a Grammy,
Yeah.
that is the top of the mountain right there. That is the ultimate award when it comes to being a musician. How did it feel to hold a Grammy and said, wow, I actually got a Grammy for a song that I wrote and performed?
The interesting part about that is you talk about me feeling some kind of loss or some kind of deficiency because Tone put out those records and blew up as the artist. And I honestly think that my Grammy for Bust a Move, that part of the push behind that and part of the impetus behind that is because people knew that I had co-written for Tone, that I was part of two massive records before my own record as an artist, so that they had seen my name before, seen that I was capable of being part of a massive record before. Because Bust a Move was the first thing that they had heard from me, as an artist. And I'm going up against Public Enemy that had multiple records. I think NWA was part of it, De La Soul. All of these people had come out before me. All of these artists, all of these acts that come out before me had more records than me, had their album out before mine, was more established and had multiple singles on their record. Principal's Office was okay. It was a good record, but Bust a Move was 40 weeks on the Billboard chart. So people just knew me from one record. So you talk about an album that came out later with just one big record on it, and that's the guy that wins the Grammy. And I think a lot of it has to do with people saying, oh, well, he wrote for Tone Loc. So I think that helped my pedigree, and that put me in a good position. And the irony, I think back to this day, meeting artists and that whole Grammy experience, and one of the people that was the most gracious to me, treated me like a peer in the whole bit, was Bruce Hornsby. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
I remember him calling to me. We had a talk, and just the way he regarded me was like so cool, because I'm like, oh man, I'm this rap guy, and people are talking about rap like it's gonna go away like disco, and it's not gonna be like an established genre. And speaking with him, and he's such an accomplished musician, and he was so interested to talk to me, like me talking to him, that just that conversation and that interaction made me feel a lot more confident around all the people that I met.
Yeah, and people actually forget this, how you said that a lot of people didn't think that hip hop was going to be around.
Oh, sure.
I remember in high school, a kid in my Spanish class said, another year or two, hip hop is going to be gone.
Oh, yeah.
And he really believed it. Now, I didn't believe it, but I remember when I interviewed Melly Mel, and we talked about how The Message was the first serious
Rap song.
rap song.
Yeah.
Before then, it was rappers talking about rapping,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And then The Message was like social commentary. It was a deep record. The New York Times started to
Right.
write about it. And people looked at hip hop as like, okay, this is actually a real art form. It's not just, I like to almost compare it to what, hip hop could have gone the way of go-go in DC.
Sure. Okay.
In DC, go-go is still the biggest thing ever. Outside of DC, no one's ever heard of go-go, right?
Right.
And hip hop could have remained a regional art form just in New York, not outside, not this global phenomenon that it became. And certain records, like The Message, changed that. But you don't know the future. It could have just ended up dying away like a disco or just becoming regional.
Do you remember a record called Problems of the World? Problems of the World Today? That was a regional record that I want to say came out before The Message, that was social commentary just like that, but it was local.
Yeah.
So it easily could have been that. So you had not only something like The Message and Rapper's Delight, going national, but then
International, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then you had someone like me going and taking all that I had and going to the West Coast and breaking from the West Coast. When I was a kid, you could look at a subway map and you could see every rap artist that you knew, or the majority of rap artists that you knew, either on that subway map, or if you extended Queens to Long Island to include Public Enemy, everything would be on a subway map. When that changed and music was coming from somewhere else, the irony of it is that a lot of that outside music couldn't get into New York, but a lot of that outside music could get into a whole lot of other places because people were hearing different sounds that weren't just New York.